This is going to be one of the fastest messages I have ever taught, preached, or what have you in my whole wide life. I'm going to give you three differences between men and women in the dating arena. But I'm also here, the main reason I'm here is about tonight's call that's going to be taking place at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is in about an hour from now. So I'm going to try to jump off of here by 8:30 p.m. so that I can make sure I have all of my notes and everything ready for the call. And that's that. But I decided, instead of me coming out and advertising, like I said before, I like to make sure that I come out and give you guys a little bit of a bonus for coming into the room. So I like to try to make sure I'm giving you a little bit of revelation, a little bit of insight, or what have you. However, the main thing is tonight we're really dealing so much with if you have not registered, for the mentorship to come on to the call tonight, this is your last opportunity to register for tonight. It's taking place at 9 o'clock p.m. Like I said, I'm gonna get off of here at 8:30. I'm gonna try to get off of here before 8:30. I'm gonna get off of here at 8:30, so that I can make sure that I got everything ready for the call. But before I came out here, instead of me just coming out here saying, "Hey, let's talk about the mentorship," I said, "Let me give you guys a little bit of something that can, just get you through the week or what have you." I know that I've been recording, going live a lot lately. One thing I can say is this is showing me that I can go live a little bit more often, but that's neither here nor there. I sent out the emails for tonight. Hello, everybody. I sent out the emails. I just sent out another email. I'm going to send out one more email. If you register after 9 o'clock p.m., or if you registered at 8:50, 8:55, you're probably not going to be able to get into this meeting because by this time I'm going to be trying to make sure I'm going live. So a lot of times, some people are last minute, right? They like to wait till the last minute or what have you, and then they'll just kind of send the email or what have you. So I want to make sure that I'm telling you guys early. So if you have not registered now, take a moment out right now. Click the link I just posted up. Go register for tonight. Tonight is free. The mentorship is not free, but tonight what we're doing is that we're coming into a room. We're going into Zoom, and we're going to talk about the mentorship program. And what we're going to do is pretty much I'm going to interview, and then all of that allow you to ask questions either to me or my team leads. And then we're going to go from there after everything is said and done. If we feel like you're a good fit for the program, we're going to shoot you out an email sometime this week as a formal invitation into the program. Of course, the program, I have to reiterate it time and time again, the program is not free or what have you. And so I would love to have you in. I think that 2023 is a great year to start your journey. I think 2023 is a great time for you to sit back and say, I'm tired of waiting. We got too many people out here talking about, I'm waiting on God, I'm waiting on God. God is waiting on you. So this is all about intentionality. You cannot do this type of stuff emotionally. You can't do this type of stuff and say, wait till I feel better. Wait till this feeling comes. Wait till that feeling comes. You'll be waiting 2026. You'll be still waiting on a feeling. So that's the information in the chat. I'm going to jump into this message because I got to get out. I got to get out of here quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm going to talk about three differences between men and women in the dating arena. And then I'm going to fire up out here. Do me a favor. Be sure to like and share. We don't have that many people on here because I've been going live quite a bit. This is why I don't go live a lot, is because people can kind of get burned out with your lives or what have you. And so we have to be a little bit careful. I went live earlier and I decided that particular live was going to be me talking directly to the people about the mentorship program or what have you. And it's great, it's wonderful. But now I'm here. I'm going to give you a message, but this is still about the mentorship program. Let me go ahead and be honest. I don't believe in clickbait or anything like that. Forgive my shirt, guys. I went out today. I had a pretty lengthy day. I had to go to my shop, and then I left my shop. I had to go to my shop. I left my shop. I went to the nail shop. I think the guy did a whack job on my nails. I end up with that dude. I don't know. I don't think it's the same dude, but I think I'm gonna ask him. I don't want any of the guys there to do my nails. He ended up doing a not so great job on my nails. I know they look normal, but they're narrow, like they're princess cut or what have you. Um, but he didn't narrow these or what have you. So they're not consistent. So a lot of the ladies there are relatively excellent. But this particular guy, he acted like he didn't understand anything I was saying. I also asked for French tip, and then I said ombre. I made sure I said ombre, and he started saying, "Hmm." He acted like he didn't understand, so he did not give me ombre. And so I'm making it a point in my head when I go back. I'm not going to let any of the guys do my nails there. I'm going to stick with a select group of women or what have you that can readily understand. Do me a favor, please like and share. Like and share. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to jump straight into it. I'm going to give you 3 differences between men and women in dating. Then you need to go register for the mentorship program. Go ahead and register tonight so that I can get the email out to you. And then that's it. All right, 3 differences between men and women in the dating arena. All right, number 1, men date logically, women date emotionally. Hey, Sister Marquita, love you. Hello, ladies, how y'all doing? Men tend to date logically, women date emotionally. I can say as a woman, we have a tendency to kind of date by hope. You know, we have a tendency to have this mentality, okay, let me cross my fingers and I'm hoping that this is him. I'm hoping that this is a good fit. Women have a tendency to be a little bit more emotional. And one of the things, depending on your wiring, one of the things that you may find yourself doing is paying attention to a lot of little things that the person does, taking him home in your head, and pretty much just kind of animating him as it relates to what type of person you think he is. And this is one of the reasons I think that women can be incredibly emotional, is because a lot of times with women, you find yourself getting disappointed every time you start to discover that the man that you're dating is not the man that you were dating in your head. The man that you're dating outwardly is not the same as the man you're dating inwardly. And a lot of times that can set the stage for disappointment or what have you. Men, on the other hand, tend to date logically. And what I mean by that, the numbers, what's going on with the numbers, y'all? What I mean by that, men date logically, meaning men don't necessarily tell themselves that you're the one. Men don't necessarily tell themselves that it's going to work out between me and you or what have you. They tend to pretty much leave their feelings at home. They pretty much just keep their heart in their chest. And I'm not saying this is about every woman. I'm not saying this is true about every man. I'm saying that for the most part, men were not created to be emotional. Women are emotional. This is one of the reasons why I tell people, and this is going to go into number 2, but this is one of the reasons why I tell women, hey, you can't go out here and date around. I know that that's being popularized, but I don't want to jump the gun into that. But men tend to date logically, women date emotionally. Men date logically. That means that same dude that you sitting at the table with, 9 times out of 10, he's not looking at you thinking she the one. I want to see if we can work out. I want to see potentially having children with her or what have you. He's at the table thinking, oh, she looks really pretty. She looks really nice. I like to get to know her better or what have you. But a lot of times men don't jump into the future in their heads. The Bible says, take no thought for tomorrow, for sufficient for today is the trouble thereof. I'm going to give you a little bit of revelation. The reason that women have a tendency to be emotional is because we jump the gun in our heads. We go all the way up into the future in our minds, and we'll sit back and say in our heads, we'll say, um, I hope he's the one. We'll call our friend and say, girl, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. He did open the doors for me. Girl, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. He sat up there, he took me to a really nice restaurant. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So we start looking at every little detail, every good detail, and we'll maximize it, we'll magnify it, we'll blow it up in our minds, and we'll get really excited about that particular guy. And that's that. So men have a tendency to date logically. Women, on the other hand, tend to date emotionally. Number 2, like I said, this is going to be a quick one. Number 2, men often have spare tires. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I gotta be honest with you. One of the reasons I can tell you when it comes to me that I'm intentionally single, not to say I don't want to get married, I look forward to getting married, is I believe that the intentionality I put into my single season, I want somebody else that put that level of intentionality, or even at minimum close to it. I like to come in contact with a man who's intentional. I like to come into a contact with a man who realizes I'm a creature of purpose. I can't just marry no anybody. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what you got going for yourself. I need a woman who understands. So he's very intentional. That means that he loves himself. Are y'all getting that? That means that he loves himself. And because he loves himself, he happens to be the type of person that he understands that there are tons of women out there. There are beautiful women, there are light-skinned women, dark-skinned women, there are white women, black women, Asian women. He understands that there are Latino women. He understands that there are beautiful women all over the place, right? Gorgeous women. But he has a measure of self-control where he's not trying to run out here and indulge in all of those women. He understands that he's a creature of purpose. And at the same time, he understands that if I want the favor and the blessings of God, I have to respect the weaker vessel. If I want the favor of God, if I want the blessings of God, if I want God to do something for me, I have to respect the weaker vessel, which means that I can't run around here and I'm over here uncovering this man's daughter and that man's daughter because that's a form of dishonor. Meaning he has to have the fear of God in him. He has to have the fear of God in him. If he's ignoring your calls, delete his number and move on. Heal. Go through the process, right? Don't try to hold on to somebody who's trying to get rid of you. Don't ever try to hold on to somebody who doesn't see the value in you. You know, if I call a dude and he's ignoring my calls, you can bet your by golly, wow, no matter how I feel, it doesn't matter how, I don't care if it hurts, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let him go. You know why I'm gonna let him go? Because I'm not going to give him permission. After that, you're giving him permission. I won't give him permission to lower my self-esteem. As a matter of fact, I would dare even tell you block him so that he can't call and play games with your head. You know, you don't give people permission to lower your self-esteem. I want you to remember that your self-esteem has a certain level. And when you come in contact with a toxic man, a broken man, an unsure man, a man that doesn't know the difference between a wife or a woman, when you come in contact with a person like that, every time you tolerate the stuff that they're doing to you, you're lowering your self-worth. You got to make sure that the man is intentional. So let him go, cry it out. It's okay to cry. It's okay to go through your process or what have you. But always remind yourself that, hey, it's going to hurt for now, but give it about a couple of months. It should be over with. The pain, it may not take that long, but for me, I always do the math in my head. I'm telling you, I just gave y'all some insight. When I was going through a divorce, you know how I didn't lose my mind in that? You know how I didn't turn around and do any crazy stuff that women do? I had one crazy day. I was honest with myself about that crazy day. I was honest with myself that, Tiffany, you're going to have one moment or you're going to have some times where you feel crazy. So make sure that you have wise counsel, which is what I did. I made sure I had wise counsel. All the same, I made sure that I told myself I was my own personal trainer. You know, well, Holy Spirit is my personal trainer. But I told myself, I said, well, it's going to hurt on average about 6 months. This is how I minister to myself. You know, the Bible says that David encouraged himself in the Lord. This is how I minister to myself. I said it's going to hurt on average for about 6 months. For about 6 months, because this is a new space that I'm in, it's going to hurt. So I pulled up the 7 stages of grief. I did a Google search, I pulled it up, and I wrote them down. I got a notebook, I wrote down the 7 stages of grief, and I documented where I was in my journey. That's intentionality. I want you guys to learn to walk in intentionality. That's intentionality. So even though those moments when I was hurting, you know, when you're hurting, you have all those thoughts and stuff that you want to say. Even though I had those moments when I was hurting and I wanted to get on the phone and say, you really hurt me. You don't care. You did this, you did that. I also combated that with, what would that do? It's not going to get you anywhere. At the end of the day, you two going through divorce, and divorce is going to be finalized. One. And two, if you truly want to heal, you got to go ahead and resist the temptation to call him, because it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not like he's going to get on the phone and say what you want him to say. It's not like he's going to get on the phone and say, I'm sorry for what I did. It's not like he's going to say that. He'll be like, why are you calling me? You know, or maybe hang up the phone in my face or what have you. So I decided to do myself a favor and pray instead of calling him. I did myself a favor and I said, I'm going to get past this. I'm going to heal and I'm going to move forward. I take accountability for my role in this. I choose to forgive him. I'm not going to look on his page. Me and him became cool. When we started going through, when we became cool, I made it clear. I was like, hey, I got no beef with you, but I got to delete you off my Facebook. I said, it's not personal. It's just for my healing. I cut off access. I started cutting off access to myself to him. I didn't need him to cut off access. I started looking. I got passwords to his accounts. I gave him all his passwords. I said, hey, go change your passwords. Go change your passwords. And I talked to myself. I told myself 6 months. 6 months, because this was a marriage that was, you know, a relationship that had, you know, been together for like 5 or 6 years. I said on average about 6 months you should be able to kind of, not be overwhelmed with thoughts of him, and you'll be able to focus forward. And again, I studied the 7 stages of grief. All right. So be intentional. Stop being emotional. Be intentional. Remember, number one, men tend to date logically, women date emotionally. And so you got to stop dating emotionally. You have to stop taking it in your head that this is the one and I want to be with him. He want to be with me. We're going to have babies together. No, you have to be logical as a woman. Believe it or not, you can control your emotions. I got to put that out there. You can control it. I can feel, but I don't obey the feeling. Did you get that? I can feel, but I will not give myself into obeying the feeling. All right, number two. Let's get back to number two. Men often have spare tires. This is the difference between a man and a woman. Now, I'm not talking about an intentional man, a godly man, a man who sacrificed himself, because there are a lot of Christian men who they fall into this category. I'm sorry. They have spare tires. And what I mean by spare tires, typically they'll have another female off in the cut somewhere that they're flirting with, that they're dating, or that they have on the string. They'll typically have her. So men and women date differently. Women, when we date, for the most part, if we're healed, if we're not destroyed by the fallen, the broken relationships, what we have a tendency to do is when we start talking to a guy, we don't have any other dudes. Am I right? For most of us, right? We don't have any other dudes. It's just us and the dude. It's just us and that guy, and we want to give it a fair chance. So we're just talking to him. We're trying to see where it goes or what have you. Even if we haven't decided on exclusivity or anything like that, we will shut a man down that's trying to talk to us. Like, let's say, for example, if I'm talking to a dude and he's showing interest in me and we go out to eat and all this other stuff and we're talking and it's clear to me that he wants to start a relationship, but I'm saying, yeah, let's kind of get to know each other. If I'm walking and another guy comes up to me, he says, can I call you sometime? I'm more likely to say, I'm seeing somebody right now. But is he your man? Not officially, but I am seeing somebody right now. So can you just respect that? That's how women, we tend to be like that. Men, on the other hand, not so much. Men, on the other hand, not so much. You have to understand that, and I'm not saying all men. Please don't hear me saying all men, but I am saying a large number, if not majority. Men have a tendency to date you, but if they're not fully satisfied with you, and in many cases they're not, they like you. There's a lot of different things about you. They're still kind of looking. They're still kind of looking. They do women like women do clothes. You know how it is. We sit back and we find, let's say, a pair of shoes. I need a green pair of shoes for what I want to wear. We'll go there. We'll go to, let's say, a store, and we'll find a green pair of shoes that could work and what have you. And even though they look good, they look nice, they look comfortable, all of that, and they seem to be, almost the perfect color, the perfect shade of green, we'll put it in a cart. But we'll still keep looking, right? Y'all know that, right? This is how women shop. We'll keep looking because in our minds we think that we'll find something better. That's how men can be with women. Not all men. I'm not talking about a man who's intentional. I'm not talking about a man who's gone on his journey, who's matured. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the average man. You are a pair of shoes. So even though you may be perfect or he feels like you will work, he still kind of has it in his head to look around or what have you. Now, the thing about guys, they'll have spare tires until they come across that one that if I say it out loud, you might need therapy. Milo, don't do that. If I say it out loud, you might need therapy. Men, in many cases, will have spare tires until they come across a woman that they feel is way outside of their league. And when I say outside of their league, I'm not talking about physique. I'm not talking about face or what have you. I'm talking about there's so many things about her, so many parts about her that they're like, oh, you got this quality and that quality and that quality. Oh my gosh, I've never met a woman that had all of these qualities that was actually interested in me. I've never met a woman that had all of these qualities. You're Christian, you abstinent, you make your own money, you're pretty, you're this. I've never met a woman that had all of these qualities And a lot of times, what they'll do is the other women that they have labeled as friends, they've taken on dates or what have you, they'll get rid of them. They'll get rid of them. In some cases, they'll get rid of them. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason I told you that is because a lot of times if you come across a man and he say, I got female friends and I do kick it with them, we go out to eat and we do all that. You better hear me. You better hear me good. That means that he still feels like he's shopping even though he's met you, which means that he doesn't see you as being worth him sacrificing all of these other connections. I don't want to break nobody's heart, but somebody need to have their heart broken so you can start over. God is not a broken hearted, okay? They in many cases will go ahead and they'll go ahead and get rid of the other women. So if I come in contact with a guy, and he says, I'd like to get to know you and all that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we exchange numbers and we're talking and everything seems to be good. It seems to be cool. And I said, so are you in a relationship? He says, no, no, no. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do have another female friend, or I got a couple of female friends, and what have you, and I have gone out on dates with them, but they do know that we're not in a relationship. So I'm just kind of, getting to know people or what have you. Now, right then and there, I respect him for being up and honest with me about that. First and foremost, for being up and honest. So, do they think they're in a relationship with you? No, we're just still friends or what have you. Okay, cool. I'm not going on a date with you. I'm not joining that lineup. No, I'll talk on the phone with you. That's it. I'll talk to you on the phone. I'll be cool with you. I'll chill with you. If I'm talking to that man and we're just talking on the phone and he really never feels the need or feels like, especially after a month or so, um 3 months tops. Now I'm not gonna give you 3 months, I'm gonna be honest with you, but I know that that's the standard thing to say is 3 months. But if he's still talking to those other females and dating them and going out with them, I ain't entertaining him. I'm not entertaining him. Let me tell you why. Because in that he's showing what he's saying to me. I speak manology. I speak manese. What he's saying to me is, you're not good enough. I haven't found what I wanted in you, and but I found a few things in you that I like, just like I got a few things in them that I like. But I haven't found a complete package yet, so I'm still hunting. I'm not willing to be placed on the menu. I got to get out of here quick, guys. I got 10 minutes to close this out. I got 10 minutes to close this out. He's literally saying, I'm putting you on a menu so that you can compete for my affection and my attention. I'm putting you on a menu, and I tell you all the things I want. I got all these different people. There's okay. Can a ladies just answer me? And I want you to put the ear up if this is you. If you agree, if you don't agree, put a thumbs down emoji up. There is nothing more attractive than a man who knows what he wants. If you agree, put the ear emoji. Right? I don't do that competitiveness. I don't compete with women. I will celebrate you. I'll tell you that you're beautiful. I'll tell you you're fine. I'll be like, girl, give me that body. Okay? I will celebrate you. And I would never allow a man to throw me into a competition with women. There is nothing more intelligent than a man who knows what the heck he wants. There is nothing more intelligent than a sure man. Yo. All right. Nothing more intelligent, nothing more attractive. Intentionality is super attractive. All right, remember thumbs down if you don't agree, ear if you do agree. I mean, I'm listening. Nothing more attractive. With that being said, I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all. Nothing more unattractive than a man who tries to play you. A man who don't know what he wants. that can't tell the difference between a wife and a woman, I find that incredibly unattractive. That is an unattractive trait with me. That is an unattractive trait. An entitled man who feels like he should have the ability to date as many women as he wants, for whatever reason, he has exalted himself in his head and in his heart. He's exalted himself. Ew. That is literally my attitude. Is I am not lying when I say that. That's my attitude toward those type of men. Ew. Ew. That is not attractive. But realistically speaking, this is why I came to understand that when you start looking at numbers, because I think we have a tendency to try to date the way that the world dates. When you start looking at numbers, if you look at numbers, there aren't that many healthy men or women in the world who are ready for marriage, especially in the Western world. This is why God said, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." God is looking for intentional people. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. Men often have spare tires. Women don't. Now, I've seen this trend where a lot of women are coming out and they are this there's this new trend where I hear a lot of guys coming out teaching. I hear a lot of people, ladies coming out teaching, saying, ladies, date around, date as many people as you can. Y'all can't handle that, so stop it. I tell guys, anytime I have a conversation with a guy, and he said, you know what they say, women should, I said, women can't handle that. We're not wired for that. That works on dudes. This is why the Bible says older women come out and teach the younger women, because dudes don't know how you wired. You'll be confused by the middle of the night. You'll have that one dude that you really liking and loading on. You'll start really liking him. Then he gonna say something stupid and retarded and something that's just ridiculous. And then the dude that you didn't like that much, but you kind of like, and he had potential, he gonna come up. All of a sudden, he gonna say something, and then next thing you know, you leaning toward him. And then while you leaning toward him, you're gonna find out that he got an unusual attachment to his mother. And then next thing you know, you like, ew, and then you lean it back toward this dude. Then you're gonna meet somebody else, and now you over here rolling around. Women can't handle that. That's because we're emotional. We're emotional. We can't handle that. We'll be sitting up there. I don't know what to do. I mean, I really like him, but then I like him too. And then I went, ugh. And then you'll start playing games trying to hold on to both of them. Your friend's on one, but really he's just a spare tire. Women get confused. That's why. You don't believe me? Give me a sister who needs a pair of green shoes. Let me take her to a mall where a bunch of green shoes are. I'm talking about to this wall. She'll get overwhelmed. She won't come out of there with no shoes. Even though there are more shoes in that one space, she won't come out with no shoes. You know why? Because she'll get overwhelmed. There's so many to choose from. What am I gonna do? She don't know what to do. No, we can't. We're not wired like men. And a lot of times we try to break ourselves so that we can become numb. That way we can be like them, not realizing that that's antithetical to your destiny. You don't want to break yourself so you can be like a broken man. You want to heal so that God can send you a healed man. I got to get out of here. 4 minutes. So number 3, last one. Number 3, men are unintentional, sometimes intentionally, but oftentimes unintentionally honest. If you talk to a man long enough, he will tell you the truth. The problem with women is we just decide not to hear it. Give me 20 women who brokenhearted that don't know how to let go of a dude. And I can bet you by golly, wow, out of those 20, 18 or 19 of them, that the dude told them he wasn't serious. He wasn't looking for a relationship. He was seeing somebody else. He told them something. He told them he wasn't looking for marriage. He wasn't looking for nothing serious. Bring 20 women in a room with me that are crying and snotted up over somebody's bouncing baby boy. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I get every last one of them to tell the truth, the thing about it is they'll be sitting up there like, yeah, he told me. And my question would be, why the heck did you move past that? If a dude come up to me, first and foremost, that's insulting. How dare you come up to me and ask me for my phone number, then get on the phone with me and tell me you're not ready? Lose my number. Right. Women tend to think they're the exception. Well, I understand what happened to, because a dude will tell you a story and you'll be like, well, I understand what happened to him. It was his mother. And then it was his ex-girlfriend. So he got a little bit of trauma. I can fix him. You're never the exception. Men are unintentionally honest. They will let you know off the bat in many cases whether or not they'll let you know how they see you. But the problem is we think we can change their minds. Well, some of y'all think like that. I don't think like that. Well, I get it, Sister Tiffany, and we're supposed to be friends anyway. You'll go to gaslighting yourself rather than paying attention to what this dude just said. He just told you that he wasn't looking for something serious. He didn't want a relationship. Can I tell you what he said? I speak manese. I'm telling you, I speak manese. What he was saying to you is, I'm not looking for anything serious with you. And we sit up there, not we, because I'm honest with myself. This is what I try to tell you. You got to learn how to be brutally honest with yourself, not just honest with yourself. I'm brutal with Tiffany. I'm brutal. Girl, that man don't like you. You know what? I can tell what he likes. That it ain't you. You're not his type. You got some things that he like. There are some things about you, some qualities about you that he likes, but for the most part, he's not feeling you like that. You're not necessarily his spec. And if you keep talking to him, then yeah, he'll proceed, he'll continue on to build with you. But for the most part, you're not what he wants in a woman. You're not what he wants. And so, okay, what are you gonna do behind that? And then I tell myself the truth. Let go and let God. I'm not going to sit there. Repent for idolatry, Sister Deja. Repent for idolatry. Start coming out of idolatry. The issue is you didn't guard your heart because of idolatry. That's the registration for the mentorship program. I would love to mentor you. I would love to. I'm talking to all of you. I would love to mentor you. Women, we lie to ourselves. Men are honest with themselves. I learned when I was young, growing up with uncles and my brother, growing up around a bunch of womanizers. I learned to be honest with myself. I'm talking about brutal, because brutality for me, to be brutally honest with myself, it really doesn't hurt. It just feels like that's annoying. That's how it feels. But if I have to go live it out and see it on my own, that actually hurts. Me being brutally honest is very similar to when I go to the doctor. I got to get off here, and they say I got to give you a shot. Now, the shot is probably not unbearable, but I've had this habit since I was a kid. I'd rather induce my own pain. I'd rather inflict my own pain upon myself than to feel their pain. So I'll take my fingernails and I'll clamp down on myself because I'm giving and then I can still feel the needle, but for the most part, I feel my own pain. That's how I date. That's how I date. That's how I engage dudes. Because what I'm doing right then and there, I will be brutally honest with Tiffany. This man ain't trying to hang out with you. This man would rather hang out with his friends. This man would rather play the video game. Girl, this man keep talking about sex. This man got a sexual attraction to you. Nothing more. I will tell myself the brutal truth. And then I'll clunk out and be like, oh, heck no. I'll tell myself the brutal truth and then I'll disconnect because I'm like, that ain't what I want. I'm telling you that because women have a tendency to be emotional. You will tell yourself what you want to hear. And you're telling yourself that, and the man is telling himself the brutal truth. You ain't the one. I don't want to be with you. You got too much this going on. You got too much of that going on. He's over there being honest with himself, and you over there lying to yourself. He's being honest with himself. You over there lying to yourself, talking about something. If I just talk to him, what's not unhealthy? What do you mean? If I just talk to him and he gets a chance to see how amazing of a woman I am, and then he mess around and takes my cooking, I cook for this joke, I did all that, he gonna really start liking me. Girl, no. He'll like your cooking. That don't mean he gonna like you. Yes, God hides his daughters. When you're hidden in God, you can be around a bunch of guys and they can't see you. Only a husband can. And the men that do see you, they won't necessarily see you. They'll see parts of you. And that's how you know they're not called to you because they'll focus more so on a part. For example, they may focus on your breast, your butt. They may focus on some part of you, but they can't see your mind. They can't see your mind because you are a spirit. The shot thing, What do you mean a shot? I'm not. What do you mean a shot thing? Now, if you're talking about, I'm not talking about the COVID shot. I'm not talking about the COVID shot. I'm saying like if I'm getting a shot, if they're extracting blood, or if I'm getting a shot or anything, anytime a needle, I'll say that a needle is involved, I typically inflict my own pain upon myself because I feel like my pain is bearable. Theirs is not. Theirs is not. So men are unintentionally honest. This is why you have to have ears, right? You have to pay attention. You got to pay attention to the stuff that they're saying. If it's, I said this before, and I got to get off of here, Lord. Um, when I was in the world, I was like this. When I was in the world, I started dating this cop dude, and I remember sitting in his car with him, and it was at nighttime. We were on the levee. We called it, it's the Mississippi River, but it's a hill. We called it the levee. And I'm sitting in the car with this dude, and we're just talking in the car. It's nighttime, and I know he feeling me. This dude really into me, but at the same time, he a little old for me. One and two, I don't know him, so I'm not jumping the gun thinking, okay, I want to see where this is gonna go. I'm just kind of going with the flow. So I'm sitting in the car with this dude. We start talking, and I started talking. He told me that he had been married before, because we're still getting to know each other. He told me he's been married before, that he wasn't getting married no more. And, he had all this child support. He wasn't having no more kids. He was saying that to, I said 19 at one time, but I was 21. I was 20 going on 21, I think. I remember I was with him when I was 21 because he took me to the casino, but I'm almost thinking he took me on my 21st birthday. But I'm sitting in the car with this dude, and he telling me that. And literally, I said, if you heard this story before, I said, well, you a toy then. I said that in my head. I didn't say that out loud. Now, should I have made him a toy? No. But literally, I wrote him off right there. Like I disconnected right there in that car. They call it avoided attachment, I guess. But I disconnected right there in that car because I knew I wanted to be married. I knew I wanted to have kids. And here it is. I'm 21 years old. Just because you done went out here and made all these mistakes and got your heart broken, you didn't went through hell, don't mean I'm going to sacrifice my life, sacrifice my desires. I'm not going to be nobody's girlfriend for the rest of my life. You just have to repent, Sister Deja. Repent. I'm not going to be nobody's girlfriend for the rest of my life. The devil is a three-feathered lie. I'm saying that to say, listen to people, not just men, but the people that come into your life. Listen to them. People will tell you the truth, but you got to come out of your fantasy to hear it. They'll tell you the truth, but you got to come outside of your fantasy to hear it. I'm going to hear the truth. And I'll sit there and tell a guy like, hey, I heard what you said. I ain't dumb. This is what you said. Because at the end of the day, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit up in the car. I'm not going to sit there and be like, but why? I want to get married. No, I literally said, oh, okay, don't take this dude serious. Literally, that's what I said in my heart. Don't take him serious. Right. What are we doing? It's just pointless. Hey, Brother James, how are you? It's pointless. Like, what the heck? What is this? I literally said in my head, "Were you a toy then?" Literally said that and never allowed myself to develop feelings. If you want to know how not to develop feelings, you have to be honest with yourself. That's how you don't develop feelings. You develop feelings when you lie to yourself. That's it. I got to get out of here. You develop feelings. Y'all be wearing your heart on your sleeve. You develop a bunch of feelings quick, fast, and in a hurry when you lie to yourself, when you don't guard your heart. It's okay because sometimes we'll develop them or what have you, but you can always go backtrack. Once you start seeing, before you build a thing, count the cost. Before you build a relationship, before you build a business, before you build anything you're setting out to build, count the cost. And you can't count the cost until you see all the moving parts. All right, I got to get out of here, guys. I love y'all, and I will talk to you soon. Go register. Go register. We're having our call on tonight. I'll post the link here again. Right. A lot of times women set themselves up to be hurt. They act like they can't hear what a dude is saying. And I'm just like, that's why I say I'm glad to be raised with womanizers because I watch how they play women, but I also watch the women play themselves. And they will tell the woman, and women will still just, well, I can change him. Mm-mm. Anyhow, I love y'all. I got to get out of here. Bye.